which is lovely. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 7th of August. So what we've got in store today, well, there's not a lot actually. If we look at Forex Factory here, we've got absolutely nothing of significance here. We've got the IVPMI for Canada at 3 p.m. And then at the 6 o'clock we've got a 10-year bond auction, which might create a bit of volatility then. I looked for speakers here and there's not a great deal. We've got some low-key data coming out this morning. Forget all the reds here. The impacts on here are just not of significance. As I say, the ECB rain speaking there, that's about it really. So okay, nothing else needed to know here apart from the Bank of Japan governor and members have suggested that rates may be put on hold now on the basis of the volatility in the markets. So there you go, that's killed the yen. So let's look through these markets and see where we're sitting at the moment. The euro, well, it looks like that this previous highs over here was the current ceiling, and we've seeing it coming back down for now. Still not out of this sort of well, it doesn't look much like an uptrend here. It does here. It's still got the higher low here, so we've got higher lows coming through here. So predominantly this is an upward trend. Looking at the 4-hourly, there is some weakness. It means it weakens. Gives us the okay to trade either way within this market, but the short term, really lower highs, lower lows kicking through at the moment. And I say at the moment, it's really got quite still again. It did have a slide off there yesterday morning and ran through, but recovered a little, and now, well, not really going anywhere too fast. There's not a lot to drive it. When there isn't a lot to drive the markets, they won't move. We haven't got traders pushing them one way or the other. Now the pound has remained pretty weak, and yesterday it got weaker. It broke properly below that trend line. Still hasn't put a lower high in as such on the bigger time frames here, but certainly has on the lower time frames. You'll just see the lower highs coming through on this 4-hourly and just carried on rolling. And at the moment, and I do say this carefully, at the moment it's looking quite ugly. A move into the pivot there could see some softness coming through, so we could see a bit of softness coming through in the move into the pivot. We'll just see how it reacts to the pivot. Always important to look at a reaction. If you trade in pivots, is to look at the reaction to the pivot. If it doesn't come off it, if it hits it and then hangs around it, well, then it's not so interesting. I'll show you an example in a little while of what happened there, which for a cross pair I was looking at. The US dollar yen, well, no surprise then to see on those comments the yen softening here and the US dollar pushing up again. Well, might get my way of my weekly pivot, but at some point it has come off a little bit again at the moment, but we could just see another shove to the upside here. I had taken a bit of a swing short yesterday, but it just didn't materialise in the end. It started getting okay looking. Certainly when I left it last night, it was looking all right. It was coming back off again there, but yeah, those comments saw the market rally and the US dollar rally, and stopped me out there, even though I'd given it a chunky old stop on it. But still, just a 1% loss, so it didn't make a big deal. It sounds a lot when you say, well, I put a 200 pip stop on something, but it doesn't if you have sized your positions correctly. Aussie dollar, well, higher low coming back through that. It's not exactly what I might have expected here. I was wondering yesterday whether we were going to see a continuation of this move to the downside in its current move, but it had the higher lows now that's confirmed here has changed the course of things for now. Unfortunately for today, it's already had its movement. It's hit its daily pivots R1, so not of interest there. US dollar CAD. Now, actually, we'll see about this one. It's back to its monthly pivot here, and now this is what I'm going to be watching for to see if we get a bounce off this monthly pivot. It come to the underside of the weekly pivot yesterday and fouled into that, and this is sort of the reversal. So we've got a reversal bar there, not a massive one, but then it's broken down and looking softer here. So that's the dollar. That is the Canadian dollar strengthening, of course, here. Now it's taken out, it's given us a lower high, etc. here, which would suggest that we could see more of that, but not massively convinced. But we were sitting around some near-term highs here. As I said, it really for me depends on what it does around this monthly pivot. New Zealand dollar, well, continuing its look. I mean, we've just seen a bit of US dollar softness filtering through most of the markets here, and consequently we're seeing the New Zealand dollar pushing up against it. And I'm not massively convinced on this is a long-term trade, but so long as it's pushing up, and it is fundamentally sentiment on it is pretty weak. It's just a case of waiting for a technical setup, and it's not showing anything like it at the moment. And as for today, where it's gone already through its R1 into its R2, if it starts selling off from this, there may be a go with on the short side, but for now it's must avoid. US dollar Swissy, higher low coming through there. The US dollar gaining against the Swissy selling off here. So the yen and the Swissy doing their best to go other ways. Anyway, yep, US dollar gaining against here. I'm just looking at the weekly pivot. Would be attractive if it got back up there potentially, but it is moving very, very slowly. Clicked on the euro pound. This has gone. I mean, this over the last few days, it absolutely charged up there back into the sort of 86 sort of area, reacting to those prior highs at the moment. It would seem. Yeah, had an early reaction, came back, retested that, and failed again. Break of the lows here would seem me a bit more positive on the pound, so I'd start selling this, but for now the pound's struggling. Okay, cross pairs, just Euro CAD was one I was looking at yesterday for a bit of a bounce, but this is what I'm looking at carefully. It never happened. Well, it got a bit of a setting but never triggered, so it came back, hit the pivot there. I was waiting for the reversal on this. It gave, as I say, it gave a bit of a hammer. It continued into the next session. After that, it would have been bullish. Having said that, I'd have been asleep at that stage, but it was starting to shape up a little bit, but it's gone through now and is softer, and we're seeing these lower highs coming through, so it's not to be at the moment. And now we've still got the untouched daily pivot today. Perhaps if we get a bit of a rally somehow, or a softer CAD, we might see this push up here. Right, that's it for now on the currency side of things. Let's have a look at gold. So gold still yesterday coming off further. Today it's getting a bit rangy now. We're sitting there on its weekly S1. It's got previous lows around this sort of area. It just looks softer with the lower highs that have come through on the 4-hourly, and well, it's into its daily pivot at the moment. Again here, just waiting to wait to see what it was doing. I don't like trading gold ever too early in the day, but you get sort of very fakey moves. Let's see what it does here, but if it starts breaking down in the next hour or so, it could be a move back to test these lows. It's got that's your initial step of resistance. If it breaks through, well, I'll stand aside of it. Not that I particularly want to be on the short side of gold, looking at the bigger picture. Oil has come to a bit of a stalling pattern here. Yes, they did come off, but it's now in this ugly wedge pattern. These wedge patterns are very, very unreliable. You're basically on a 50-50 bet which way it's going to go from here. Normally with a bit of a consolidation phase on a downward trend, you'd expect it to break to the bottom and go. It might do, but equally it might go the other way. It really is a coin toss. So wedged up there at the moment. My preference would be, obviously, I say obviously, but I'd like to see it continue rolling to the downside there. Equity markets, S&Ps, gaining a bit this morning. Yesterday it was a pretty dull day. We've just got this higher low coming in here, but we've come to the underside of the quarterly pivot here, and it's reacted to the underside there. Not massively convincing what we're seeing. So there's that quarterly pivot. It reacted there quite sharply to it initially, and off it came. And there's the little reactions you're looking for come down the time frames. Look at what's happening to the price when it hits there. That certainly came. Anyway, for now, since it's sort of moving up there again, it's getting into this sort of consolidated phase, which becomes less reliable to be looking at. The Nasdaq, bigger picture here, it's very similar in terms of what's going on, and the Dow, again, very similar. Bit of a gain this morning at the moment, but this is a little bit stronger, only in the fact that it's above its quarterly pivot, back above it. Okay, nothing to run for there. Looking closer to home, the DAX, a similar picture. Slight gains being made at the moment, and the FTSE again, all very, very similar, very correlated across the equity markets there. Slight gains there through the Asian session. Of course, it could be easily wiped off. Let's just look at what's going on. It's already starting. Look, the breakdown here on the FTSE at the moment, and well, it's quite clear when you come down to the hourlies. I've already seen the daily pivot hit. It's not really a much of a magnet when it's already been hit, but it does look soft here. But again, we've got with all these markets, they're sort of consolidating nearest the bottom. This at least is putting higher lows in as it's running through. A more significant one here. So it's got a very slight upward trend there, but it could just be a consolidation within just a range, a rising or an ascending channel effectively. It could be just popping in there before it breaks down further. Okay, not looking the best. Right, I shall leave it there. This is not a great deal at the moment, but things post 8 o'clock, give it half an hour or so, things might point a little bit better. But for now, so there's quite a lot of softness there. Okay, I will leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you in the morning. Bye for now.